This lighting is not.
Hello, I'm Felicia Vereen, always known as Fee.
Hey, Fee, and I'm your girl, Sharita 3, better known as Fred.
And we are Inspire Her, the Total Woman podcast, all about uplifting you.
Yes.
Because, friends, face it, you are awesome.
We'll be chatting up about topics we love to talk about. All the things we as women must juggle every day and the ish we complain about.
But who's listening?
Girl,
we'll chat about the struggle, the job, and about him. You know who we talking about.
Girl.
That boo, husband, boyfriend, ex, whatever you calling them today. Our lovely hellions, kids.
Our angels. But seriously, friends, life happens, and we don't always get a chance to talk about it. We take it on the chin and we keep it moving.
Because that's what we were told to do.
Yep.
But here on Inspire Her, the Total Woman podcast with Red and Fee, we are the friends you love to hang out with. We are here to inspire her, the Total Woman.
Yes.
I don't know what.
I don't know. You having some technical difficulties back there, huh?
I was trying to send the invite out, and my phone is loud as I don't know what. Y'all just listen. Don't pay me no attention. What's going on, Red?
Not much. It's just been a week. It's been a long week. Feel like I'm the one show right there.
I've been having a great time, but today, all of a sudden, everybody wants me to do something today, and I'm like, went to an event and it wasn't even there. It's April 2nd, April 1st, whatever it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a day.
You need to reset, regroup. I like the white nails. That's something different. I'm not used to that.
White? My toes white? Now, you know what they say about women and white nails?
No, I don't.
I ain't going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Well, we have a beautiful guest here, Miss Brisa.
How are you? I'm good.
Hello, Brisa.
How are you guys?
We are good. We are good.
Thank you for having me.
I was going to say, Inspire Her is happy to have you.
Absolutely. He sent me this whole thing on you. I'm like, yeah, that's fine, But I definitely want to hear from you, your story. I heard you have a miraculous story that you want to share.
The story is amazing. If you are listening, she is, like I say, that my daughter is a miracle baby. She is a miracle woman.
So are you the walking billboard of I don't look like what I've been through? Because you're absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that was one of my struggles through my recovery, was because I have a brain injury, and on the outside I look okay. And that, I think a lot of people go through that. Like, they don't know what's going on in the inside, what you're dealing with, what your life is, what you're struggling through. They don't know all that, but they see you happy, healthy, whole, complete. So you must be okay, right?
Right.
But yeah, that's that. I mean, like, it's a curse and a blessing, right? So
right. Well, take us back to your story. Take us back from the beginning.
So, first of all, thank you again for having me here with you guys and sharing with your audience. I appreciate you. I never would have imagined that I would ever be on podcasts or interviews or anything like that, because that wasn't really, like, I wasn't trying to do any of that. For a while there, I was just trying to survive. But as I've been recovering, more people wanted to hear my story, more people, and I've been able to share it on pretty incredible stages, and even wrote my own book, and it became a international #1 bestseller. I've shared my story in magazines, TV, all around the world. It's crazy because there was a time that I didn't even have a voice, and that's rewind back to 10 years ago, when I actually found myself inside of a New York City hospital, faced with a less than 1% chance to survive.
Wow.
So I overheard my doctors discuss what I was going through, and I had a stroke. And I thought, there's no way that that they're not talking about me,
Mm-hmm.
because at the time I was 32 years old. I was healthy. I was, I worked out. I didn't do drugs. I didn't drink. I didn't, all the things. So I didn't think that I deserved it. And I think that when we're challenged in life, many times we think we don't deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it's about what we're gonna learn from this situation that counts more than the actual situation. And I was laying there listening to my doctors discuss that I had a less than 1% chance to survive, that I developed something called locked in syndrome. And that's when you're essentially locked in your own body. So most people that have strokes, it affects a certain side of their body, the left side or the right side.
Mm-hmm.
Mine happened in the middle, so it affected both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, I developed the locked in syndrome. And so things were coming in, and I couldn't express that they were coming in. So I was basically a vegetable lying in a bed. And that was frustrating. It was scary. When you hear everybody pronounce your fate and everybody telling you what life is going to be like, um, it gets in your head, and you start second guessing, like,
Mm-hmm.
is this going to be my life?
Mm-hmm.
Are they right? Is that what my future is going to look like? And I think when we are in those situations, I think we have to pause and think about, well, what is it that you want? Do you want to stay in this situation? Of course not. So what do you got to do to get yourself out of it? And I kind of had that mentality, like, I got to figure out a way so that my family and doctors and everybody could see me, could see that I'm trying. But I didn't know. I didn't find a way. So I remember one day my mom was playing The Secret for me. And The Secret focuses on the law of attraction, on what you focus on grows. And I remember listening to that. Now, she didn't know that I was listening. She didn't know that I could hear,
Mm-hmm.
but I was, and I was taking it all in. And in the book, there was one speaker that resonated the most with me, and she was Lisa Nichols. And in the book, she said, the first step is to ask. Make a command to the universe. Let the universe know what you want, because the universe responds to your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts. Thoughts were all I had.
Right.
I didn't have anything else. So if
Mm-hmm.
all I got to do is change my thoughts and it'll change my life, then that's what I'm going to do.
Wait a minute, Brisa, back up for a minute and tell the
Mm-hmm.
people that you were in a bed. You couldn't move. The only thing
Mm-hmm.
that could move were your eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. You couldn't move
That's it.
at all because you had
No.
Right.
So I remember while I was in this locked in state, a body laying in a bed, and I remember people coming in and out, doctors coming in and out, people talking, having conversations around me, and me trying to talk with them, me trying to have a conversation with them, trying to tell them that's not me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay. I know you're talking about somebody, but it's certainly not me. And I think that frustration really helped me in my recovery, because I was trying to show my family, friends, anybody that could see me that I'm trying to make a connection. Many times a connection was made and I was really excited about it, but nobody saw it.
Mm.
Or a connection was made and family, friends, somebody saw it and was like, oh my God, she's moving, she's moving. And then the doctors would come in and say, no, 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 those movements are involuntary.
Mm.
Mm. So the
Well,
doctors
how
were trying
many times?
to say,
Yeah, they
mm,
they they only know what they know.
Right.
And I mean, that's why it's a practice. Like they're
mhm,
figuring it out as they go. I mean,
Right.
don't get me
mhm,
wrong, they are very knowledgeable and but
mhm.
the type of stroke I had, there's less than 5 cases per year worldwide.
Oh,
So
wow.
I can't expect them to know all the things about all the things. I mean, they
Right.
know case by case basis. So when I was in this state, I remember thinking like there's gotta be a way for me to show them that I'm still in my body. And when I was listening to the audiobook, because my mom would play music and she would um, play videos and things for me to see it. Didn't know if I could actually see it or hear it,
Mhm,
but she did it, for me. And uh, I remember when she was playing the audiobook, I remember hearing it was resonating so much with me. Like I don't, it doesn't have to, I don't have to speak it. I just have to believe it. I just have to um, make sure that I change my thoughts to the outcomes that I want. So instead of focusing on what I didn't want so that I can attract more of that, I started focusing on what I wanted. And what I wanted to be happy, healthy, whole, walk my ass out of the hospital. That's what I wanted. I didn't
mhm,
want to be laying, in a body laying in a hospital bed. I didn't want other people making my future choices, my future life goals. My
mhm,
life goals are now going to be summed up to a bed with a breathing machine breathing for me. I
Mm.
don't think so.
Mhm.
I don't think so.
So do you ever feel like, it was something you said earlier, but do you ever like, why me, or why this happened to me? Do you ever feel
Yes.
like that you were chosen?
Well, at first it was, I went through why me, as far as like, why did this happen to me? Like,
Mhm.
of all people, of all things, like, why did this happen to me? Then I had to realize, well, what makes me so special? If it
Why?
could happen to anyone,
Mhm.
if
That's
it
what it
could
was.
happen to anyone,
Yeah.
why? So, with the same respect, I think, why can't I recover? If it can happen for anyone, why can't it be
Mhm.
me?
Right.
So now change that narrative and
Yeah.
think, okay, so if miraculous things have happened to ordinary people, why can't I be one of the ordinary people?
Absolutely.
So what do I have to do? And I realized that I need to change the way I think, change my thoughts of any doubt, any just like start believing in my own possibilities and
Mhm.
ignore anybody else that says otherwise. And even myself, because those negative conversations come in your mind. I mean, just like when anybody's building a business, you got all of these goals and dreams and things you want to accomplish, and you are all about it when it's in your mind. The
Right.
Mhm.
moment that you start telling other people, that's when our mojo disappears. Basically, that's
Mhm.
when everybody starts telling you like, "Ooh, that's going to be hard. You
Right.
sure you can do that?" No one's ever done that in our family. Why would you want to do that?
Mhm.
That's going to be like they start putting their limiting beliefs, they place their limiting beliefs on you.
Yeah.
And then it's your choice whether you want to pick that up or not. And
Mm.
I made the conscious decision that I was not going to pick it up. I didn't care who it was from. I wasn't going to pick it up. And I knew that I don't care how long it takes me. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it big. And I didn't start with doing it big. I started with the tiniest little movements. And I think that that's where we all get caught up in life, is we think we need to make these huge grand movements. Like we have to, we make a plan and we got to do the whole thing real big. Well,
Mhm.
you just have to start taking those little actionable steps to get you there, those little baby steps. I call them something else, and I call them something else because the first step to my recovery was a pinky move.
Mm.
That pinky move was one of the biggest movements that I've ever made in my life. My mom noticed, well, she was the first to notice my pinky move. She ran to tell the doctor she's moving. She's moving. Again, she's like they would say,
Yeah.
those are involuntary movements.
Mm-hmm.
I know you want to believe it, but it's not. It's
So how
probably not the
long was
case.
at this point? How long were you in that state before you began to move your pinky?
Weeks. With my doctors telling my family to call the rest of my family to New York, to the hospital in New York, where they're in California. All of them are in California. So they all had to make the trip out to California. Family, friends, people that loved me were all there to
So
say
they're
goodbye.
telling you to they're calling people. Well, first, Brisa, I want you to share. Can you share this to your page? Because I want people to hear this. I've heard this story before,
Yeah.
and when I heard it, I was like, my God, like you're laying in a bed, no movement,
Mhm.
can't speak. The only thing that can move is your eyes, and you're literally in your body saying, I'm okay. What's going on? I'm okay. And you're
Yeah.
trying to will
One.
yourself to move something.
Mhm.
And the first movement is your pinky. And you say your
Yeah.
mother saw it. Mothers
Oh, yeah.
are something else.
I
Mothers,
know.
they gonna be with you through thick and thin, no matter
Yes.
what. And
Yes.
I'm not surprised that your mother was paying attention to your pinky move.
Listen,
Mm.
she's a stubborn lady. And when those doctors told her, I'm sorry, those movements are involuntary, she was like, come back in
Mhm.
there and go check her. I know she's moving on command, because she'd asked me several times. And they know, my family noticed, of course, and it wasn't just wishful thinking, it was on their command. And when the doctors came in, um they were like, okay, Brisa, your mother says you're moving, show us a sign that you are in your body. And just in that moment, they lifted up my hand and they said, okay, you can do it, show us a sign. Well, at this point, I was tired. I was
Mm.
I it was hard for me to make that connection again. And I imagine it like I want people to imagine it like an energy beam, like this energy beam that was coming from my brain, passing the barricade at my brain stem, which was where I had the stroke, passing that barricade, traveling down through my arm, all the way down to my arm, to my hand, and just kind of stalling at my hand and not making that connection. And the more I would hear one neurologist say, she's not doing it, I would kind of retract back. That energy beam would retract back. And I would think, yeah, they're right. I can't do it. I can't do it. But sometimes it takes one more person to believe in you. And
Mm.
for me, that was my other neurologist. My other neurologist and said, wait, give her more time. I think she's trying. Her face just changed. Well, a shift in my face was all I needed to allow him to give me the grace of another opportunity. And I think that many times, like even in my recovery now, as I'm building my business, I'm aware of small shifts, small pinky moves, because I realized that when we add those up, those make a big difference. My doctor giving me the opportunity to do it again made a big difference. And in that very moment, I was able to move my pinky again. And because I moved my pinky again, it made all the doctors, nurses, family, everybody, they realized that I was still in my body,
Mm-hmm.
that there was still more life left in me, and whatever that they had thought that was going to be my future was no longer my future. Now it's changed. However, the pinky move didn't just make me walk out of the hospital right away.
Right.
It was more pinky moves that got me to where I needed to go. So every stage in recovery was another pinky move. So I was able to sit up in my hospital bed. Later, I was able to move the right side of my hand, or my arm, and my hand, and then my leg, and then the right side of my body, and then the left side came later. And then eventually I was in a wheelchair, and then I was walking with a walker, and then a cane, and then eventually I was walking unassisted. But all of those micro victories were all celebrated, and they all stemmed from that tiny pinky move. Because I learned how to celebrate the little micro victories, the little tiny things that I was doing right, and not focusing on what I wasn't doing right, what is going wrong in my life. Because it's easy to get caught up in all of the things that is going wrong in our lives. And when we focus on those things, we attract more of it. So I made it my job to attract what I wanted in my life.
And that's awesome. And this month is Women's History and Women's Empowerment Month. And that's why we wanted to invite you on here, because what you went through is powerful. You
Thank you.
willed yourself back.
Yeah.
And I want you to explain. Now, we've gone through the part where you were in the hospital and that you couldn't move and that you kind of willed yourself back, praying, I'm sure, and
Yes.
into the universe, and you were able to move that pinky that second time to get the doctors to give you a chance. And now you're out, and it's 10 years later or so.
Hmm.
And now you've taken that experience into the business world and you're helping other people make pinky moves. Explain that to us. What are you doing to help other people now?
Well, I honestly feel like my second chance at life wasn't an accident. I think that there's a purpose for all of us, and I feel like this was my purpose. I wouldn't change anything. If I could go back and do it all over again, I wouldn't change anything. I don't regret my stroke. I don't regret my time in the hospital. I don't regret my recovery. All of it I needed to go through so that I can go on and help the people that I'm helping now. And I think that when I I don't just help people that like stroke survivors. I also help people that feel locked in their circumstances, because a lot of us do feel that way. We feel like there are no more options. We're locked in our circumstances. How the heck are we going to get out of here? And we tend to focus all our attention on the negative, and as a result we keep attracting more and dig ourselves deeper and deeper and deeper. And I started to share my story with my friends and with my family, and then one person would say, hey, can you share it on this platform and this platform? And then I just started sharing it left and right, and then I started realizing that not only was it being well received, where people were realizing their own potential, but they wanted more, and they wanted to, connect with me further. So that's when I started coaching and working with people one on one. And it's been incredible to share my story on different stages and events and things like that. But when I get to work one on one with someone and help them realize their own potential, not by making huge progress overnight, but just by celebrating their little micro wins, their pinky
Mhm.
moves. I think that that has been more fulfilling for me than anything else I've ever done. So I feel like I'm gonna keep doing that.
Mhm. Love it that you I can't find the right word, but you just kind of make it practical. Like your story, you make it practical and you relate it to just normal everyday things. When you were talking about not believing what people say and just going on, and I'm like, yes, yes, you may be the first one. Yes, yes. So, and that's a sermon right there. You know, you may be the
Thanks.
first one. And like I said, when you started telling your story, I felt like God chose you for a reason and to have this very platform to be able to share your story and encourage so many others.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And the same with you, ladies. I mean, you guys are giving a voice to people that need to share their stories too
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
inspire other people. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times we get stuck in the whole like, we're the only ones that are going through what we're going through. But that's
Mm-hmm.
not true. We all go through things. And many times it's exactly what you're going through, but just on a
Yep.
different in a different way, right? But I mean, there's been so many times that I've listened to an audio or read a book or something, and listen, their life is nothing like mine, but I
Mhm.
relate to it so much. And I honestly, that's what my goal is to help help empower other people to know that honestly, it all it's all in your hands. And the moment that we give our power to somebody else,
Mhm.
that's when we allow their limiting beliefs, their um, ways of thinking, like seep into our life.
Mhm.
And I think I was reading one of your posts. I don't remember which one it was, but it was something about your greatest test is how you handle it when somebody, oh, what was it?
How you handle it when somebody mishandles you.
Yeah, when somebody else like doubts your potential, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Mm-hmm.
I read it and I was like, "Yes, that's it." Like how are you going to
Mhm.
handle it when someone's going to doubt your potential? Because over and over again, I kept getting no in my face. No, no, no. It's not going to happen. This is as good as you're going to get. And
Mm-hmm.
I would be like, "Doc, when am I going to walk again?" Brisa, you shouldn't even be sitting in a wheelchair. Like, this is incredible what you're doing. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted more. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
more. And I keep wanting more. And I'm not done. I mean, when I'm done, I'm done. But I don't want to be done. I want to keep
Right.
going. So I'm fueled by people. I'm fueled by the ability to help other people and to help them see their own potential and their own value because I if I help one person see the value in themselves and they go on and do extraordinary things with their life and they go on and help millions of other people, well, how many
Mm-hmm.
lives did I just touch, right?
Exactly.
So
And
So
I
are
mean, I
there
want to commend you for that because some people will go through something and won't share it
right.
because they feel like, they feel bad about it or they don't want to relive it, but
yeah,
you're
I get that.
expressing to people what you went through. And
Thank
I
you.
don't even when I first heard the story, I just looked at you like, what? And I'm like, because when I first met you, the bubbly, we hit it off. We were being trained to be coaches,
Mhm.
and we were just sitting there talking. And I was like, there's no way that this woman could not
Mm-hmm.
move at all just some time ago, you know.
Mhm.
And it just shows how much willpower you had And for you to actually want to come out and tell people your stories, that's awesome to me. And
Yeah.
Thank you.
it's
Thank you.
definitely empowering because
Thank you.
people can take that and know that, listen, if she can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Have,
that's why I do what I do, because I want people to know that they can do it.
are you dealing with any long-term effects from the situation, the incident?
Yeah, I mean there are some things that I have, and I just I try not to focus on all of
Mm-hmm.
my energy on it because I don't want to attract more. But yes, I do have deficits, and now they're invisible. So because they're invisible, like I was saying earlier,
Mm-hmm.
it's more of a challenge because when you see a person with a disability, a physical disability, um, it's expected. But
Mm-hmm.
when you see a person with no physical disability, it's hard to understand. There's still something going on up there, like something inside. And I choose not to focus on it. I mean, so much so that when my doctor gave me um, a handicap placard for my car, I refused it. I was like, no, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
claiming that. I'm
I
not
know.
claiming it. I want to make a full recovery and I'm not claiming it. And he was like, yes, but I mean, there were so many things, and my family's
Mm-hmm.
like, Brisa, you should have took that um that card so we could go park anywhere. And I'm like,
Yeah, to
oh,
get
dang.
better
Park
parking space.
closer.
I didn't think about it then. I think about it now, like during Christmas, I think about it. But
You gotta walk
I,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you
What?
know
What?
what?
No, you go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, I was just gonna say, even then, you know, parking, like, okay, now I gotta park far away, but there was a time that I wouldn't even be able to walk to the front door. So
Right.
I'm not gonna complain that I have a long walk to the front
Mm-hmm.
door
Mm-hmm.
because there was a time that I couldn't even walk. So
Exactly. I agree with you
yeah.
100%. So, tell us about how your coaching, like, what does that consist of, and what population do you mostly attract?
So it's crazy. So I thought that it was just going to be stroke survivors in the beginning.
Mhm.
And although that's a fact, but I'm also helping people that are not dealing with any physical impairments, anything physical. But I sometimes think that our mind, our mind can limit us, and if we allow it to.
Mhm.
But if we learn how to empower our minds, we we're literally limitless. That's the title of my book, is Limit. We literally are limitless when we learn how to tap in to our strength, our mind's potential. And so the type of people that I work with are anywhere from um, young people to old people, from um, people that are working through changing habits. They want to change habits. They want to start something new. They want to recover something. Like, they have goals that they're trying to reach. They just need someone positive to speak to on a regular, because honestly, not everybody is as blessed to have super supportive family members.
Mhm. You're
Not
right about
everybody is
That's true.
blessed to have a great support system. And um, putting yourself in the room with someone that sees you, the value that you bring to the
that.
table, I think that that's valuable. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, do you find that some people, you know, even though you're showing them, I don't know if you ever show people your pictures or anything like that. Do you ever find people that, even though you're showing them and you're telling them you came through, it can be done? Do you find people that still doubt what you're saying?
Hmm.
Mm.
All the time, all the time. I first experienced that and I didn't know how to handle it in the beginning when I would help stroke survivors and they would say, well, they didn't know my story exactly, but they
Mhm.
would say, you don't understand. I can't move. Like my whole left side or my whole right side is not able to move. And I understood it's frustrating. It's frustrating when there are a set of circumstances in front of you that you see as impossible. I
Mhm.
see that that's very frustrating. But I the more and more I work with my clients and I start to explain to them that it is a mindset. It is 100% about our mind. Our mind is more powerful than our brain. So
Yes.
I think a lot of us stroke survivors, because we have a brain injury, we think, oh, we're not going to be able to do it because we have a brain injury. There's nothing wrong with your mind. So if you can make it your mind more powerful than your brain, and that's just learning how to work with your mind. And there's techniques and things that you can do to override and overpower your thinking mind, your like everybody it's it doesn't make sense, so they don't try it. When you are trying something new and it doesn't make sense, how would that work? How would that work? So I'm not even going to try it. Well, that's when you limit yourself, when you don't even try it. So if you
Mm.
open your mind to possibilities, maybe there's something there. And I think working with people that have been closed off to possibilities for so long was difficult for me in the beginning to try to show them what I see. Just like a mom with a child, that you want to show your baby that you've got the world at your
Mm.
fingertips and that you can do anything that you put your mind to. But as they get older, as things happen, it's life starts getting in the way, and they start forming their own limiting beliefs because of their past, and because of all the things that have led them to this point, to believe in this point. Well, what if we started fresh every day? What if we
Mm.
didn't allow those moments from our past define our future?
Right.
What if we can just make a goal and just keep living every day trying to make a pinky move towards that goal?
Mm.
What if we can get there and then later look back and go, oh my God, I didn't even realize I'm here. I'm here. I think when we focus too much on how we're going to get there, we don't get there because we don't know how is it possible? It's like when you set your GPS on where you want to go. If there's a roadblock, if there's construction, if there's something that pops up on the freeway and they close that freeway and now you got to take another highway. Well, that doesn't mean you're not going to make it to your destination. It just means it's going to take you a little longer and it's going to reroute you to a different way to get there. So it might not be the way that you want to get there, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to get there. If you make it your goal to get there, to arrive at your destination, nothing, nothing will change that. You don't allow you or anybody else, you yourself, tell you that you can't get there because you already set your GPS. You set your destination. You know
Mhm.
where you're going, and just keep driving. Just keep going. Something will come up. Things come up. Doesn't mean you're not going to get there.
And
If
Right.
that's
you stop, you won't. If you
Awesome message.
stop, you 100% won't get there.
that's
And that's
focus.
Yeah, that's an awesome message, and that's real. And I know sometimes people come to you, they're probably not quite at the lowest, but kind of in a bad space. So Just that pep talk right there, like, okay, I feel it. I feel like I can do this, and just you can tell when you're saying it, it's coming from a place that you truly believe what you're saying. Like, I lived it. I'm telling you, I'm not just spewing, rhetoric, whatever. I'm
No.
really speaking to you so I know that it can be done. And that's inspiring to hear.
I think a lot of us, we we get off the hook by saying, like, that's easy for them to say, or it's easy for them because XYZ, or even, I mean, listen, I appreciate when people call me a miracle. Like, thank you. I received that. However, so are you.
Right.
And there's no reason that you can't do it too. And I remember one of my mentors was like, she said something about along the lines like, don't put me on a pedestal. Like, you don't get off the hook that easy. Like, it's the same. Like, this could be for you too. And it's hard to see that. Like, when you're in the grind and you're focused on your day to day, and you don't, but you're like, but you don't get it. I got bills, I got this, I got that. Like, I'm dealing with all these things from all these different angles. You're not dealing with that. So how it's easy for you to say, but that's when we need to change our narrative and stop placing like that only special, like, saying only they can achieve greatness. We can too. We can achieve greatness too. There's no reason that only so and so can have what they have. Like, we can have that too. The only difference is they never stopped. They just kept going. And I guarantee they're still going. They're still going. I mean, we see the outside. We see all the things that they've got, but we don't see what their goals are inside. Maybe they want more. Maybe they want what you have. Maybe you have an amazing relationship with your children and your loved ones, and they don't have that. And that's something that they want. So how do we become the example for other people to get what they want? Just don't stop. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. I want to read
I like
something that you wrote. And I know I didn't tell you I was going to read this, but I'm going to read it anyway. You said, during my recovery, I didn't spend much time wishing things were different because that doesn't make change happen. Complaining doesn't make change happen either. Neither does being angry about it. It's the doing part where change happens. No, I didn't spend much time in my thinking or logical mind, prefrontal cortex, if you want the medical term of it, because I instead spent most of my recovery in my subconscious mind, imagining my complete recovery in detail and actively working to achieve my goals. This was rewiring my brain at an accelerated pace because of it. Neuroplasticity. I was basically hypnotizing my brain for a more powerful and positive change. So to me, that's saying start out where you want to be and work your way back.
That's it. That's it.
That's powerful.
Thank
Start
you.
out where you want to be and work your way back.
I like that.
I think if more of us do that, we will surprise the heck out of ourselves. Because I think we don't even start many times because it's scary and it's um, a big too big of a goal or whatever it is. I think that a lot of times the bigness of it keeps us like, confined and not even taking a chance on the what if. What if we win? What if we do it? What if we are successful? We don't even take a chance because we're too busy on what if we fail? What if we don't make it? What if we fall? What if we hurt ourselves? What if all the things? So, well, change that narrative and work your way back. And so, what is it that you want? Sit down and write that out. What do you want?
Mm.
Like, start dreaming. That's one thing that I see with children. They can be anything they want to be
Mm-hmm.
in life, right? But think of it when a kid is zooming around the living room with a cape on, saying, you know, a pillowcase around his neck, and that's his cape, and he's got a little mask on, and he's running around and saying he's Superman. There's nothing in his little mind that tells him he is not Superman, because in that very moment, he's capable of being Superman. He is Superman. He embodies Superman. And even if you start talking to him, he's in character. He
Mm-hmm.
is Superman, right? So we stop dreaming. We stop doing that as adults. We stop doing, like, we stop thinking of our future. We stop dreaming of the possibilities. I mean, okay, so maybe I'm not Wonder Woman. However, my clients say otherwise. So
Mm-hmm.
they're telling me, like, how did you do it? How did you do it? You're like Wonder Woman. No,
Mm-hmm.
so are you. So are you. The only difference is I worked my way back. So I chose, like, okay, I'm going to do what one Wonder Woman thing, like what Wonder Woman would do. What would she do in this situation? Right? Like, think of your hero, whoever it is. Who do you want to be like? What do you want to accomplish? Set that goal and work your way back. What do I got to do? And I think that when we start doing that, it starts getting simpler. It starts becoming
Mm-hmm.
simpler, and we're not tied to the result so much, because the result already happened in our mind. The result, like, I already knew I was going to be okay. I
Mm-hmm.
already knew I was going to be healthy. I to the point where I was dreaming so much of my inevitable future that I was getting annoyed every time the doctors would walk in, take my blood work or whatever, because I was in the middle of my dream, like daydreaming. I'm dreaming about, what am I going to do when I get out of here? Where am I going to go? My family was all in on it too. Like, they would all talk to me and say, Brisa, what are we going to do when we get out of here? And I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I want to go shopping. I want to go to
Mm-hmm.
Disneyland. I want to do all the things. So I'm thinking of all the things I want to do, right?
Right.
So never did I think, well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. I don't want to go to Disneyland if I'm going to be in a wheelchair. I don't want to, like, we start thinking and putting all these barriers before we even finish our dream.
Right.
So I think I think we need to have a little taste of what children do. There are no barriers when they dream.
Mm-hmm.
No
Absolutely.
barriers. And I think that we need to do more of that, and as a result, we will get closer to our dreams. Like, listen, if you don't hit exactly your dream, but you come that close, tell
Mm-hmm.
me, is it that big of a deal?
What's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong
Not
with
at all.
that.
What's wrong with
That's
that?
amazing. That's amazing.
It is.
Because
And it's, for everybody that will listen to this, listen, like she said, create your dream. And, I'll go as far as to say, create your dream and start living it. Just, even if it's not to the 10th power or as grand as you want it to be,
Yeah.
living it. Me and Red wanted to create a podcast. Now we're not getting as many visitors as we want while we're live, but people watch it afterwards.
On
And
their
Mm-hmm.
own time.
that's great because like me,
Mhm.
I don't watch TV during the time the shows are on. I record
Mm.
and watch it on my own time. So we
Mhm.
could get discouraged, but we know where we want to be.
Yep.
Right.
And
Now
that's it.
opportunity to be on the radio. So we're
Yeah.
like, hey, we know where we want to be, and
Hmm.
we got the goal out there, and we're living it. This is us living it, and
Hmm.
we're gonna just keep adding things to just try to get to where we truly want to be. And
Yeah.
neither one of us are saying, "Man, but we gotta come on every week, and we don't have no." No, we just love talking on here.
Yeah. Yep. And we got to get excited about our future,
Yeah.
excited about what's about to come. I mean, there's
Mm.
sometimes I'm so excited about my future. Like I could tell you, my family doesn't even know about the big goals and dreams. And sometimes they're so big that I think, okay, Brisa, calm down. But I don't stop dreaming. I
Mm-hmm.
don't stop dreaming because like I said, if you don't hit it, like if you just come right there, there's nothing wrong with that.
Wrong with
Right.
it.
So so keep dreaming, keep it
Mm-hmm.
alive because you never know. One thing will lead to another thing, will lead to you meeting someone, and that person leading you to another avenue, and
Mm-hmm.
then that avenue leading to something else. I mean, you never know how big your dreams can take you, like where they can take you. I mean, sometimes it's so like surreal to me still. I will think, okay, God, like this is crazy. Sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
find myself in rooms with certain people and I'm like, oh gosh, I have to like check myself and think,
Mm-hmm.
no, Brisa, you deserve to be here. You
Right.
put in the work, you deserve it. But it's
Yeah.
easy to let our limiting beliefs like creep in and
Mm-hmm.
start telling us like, who do you think you are? Who do you
Mm-hmm.
think
Mm-hmm.
you are?
So the people tell you the outside, the discouraging people or the haters, as we call it, tell you you can't do this, or why you doing this, or why you want to do that. So I feel you. I really
Hmm.
do. Good
Yeah.
message, great message. And you can
Right.
apply this in so many aspects of your life. When you're talking, I'm thinking about, my business, my family, my relationship, my show coming out. So I can relate to so many different things as you talk.
Good.
And
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you. I just said, Brisa, I want you to come on my podcast.
Yeah.
And you said, okay. And I'm like, listen, I commend you for doing what you're doing,
Mhm.
period.
Thank
Um,
you.
you could have made your pinky moves and kept them to yourself and not express
Hmm.
anybody, just happy that you came through. But the fact that you got to the goal where you want it to be and you're still going, making those pinky moves, and you're willing to just come back and help other people see that too. That's powerful. And you are the epitome of an empowered woman. So yeah.
Yes. And
Hmm.
hold on, the pinky takes a lot of strength to move that pinky. It takes
Hmm.
strength to move that pinky. And I said, is that the first thing you moved? I mean, this is really easy, but when you talk about the pinky, it feels like it takes a little bit more effort to move your pinky.
It was just a twitch. It was just a twitch, just a
Yeah,
little tiny slight movement.
but that's all you needed, and all
And that's
that was.
all. That's it. And listen,
And like you
when
said,
we
they were trying to
combine them,
plug you. They were
yeah.
trying to give you your last minutes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They had
Yeah.
no clue. They had absolutely no clue what they were dealing with.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yep. And you know what? I've heard it from so many people. Don't don't get permission from the world or just give the world notice that you're coming. And I think that that's resonates so much with me and my story and so with so many other people. Like I think don't ask permission for what you want. Go out there and just go get it.
Do it.
If you want greatness, you deserve greatness. Go get it.
That's
Yep.
Don't wait for somebody else to give you permission.
that's
Go
I,
get it.
I receive it.
right.
I receive it, Brisa. I receive it. Mm,
Yes.
Thank you.
I appreciate.
secret. I really do. Great message.
Y'all need to listen to this because I know there's some people in the audience that need to go get some things. I know there's one lady in the audience who has been telling me that she's going to write her poems in a book. I
Mm,
have yet to see it. It's a
mm-mm.
goal.
Pinky moves.
You need
Pinky
to
moves.
do
Think
them
and
pink,
move.
do them pinky moves one step
That's
at a
it.
time and get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a goal and it's something that you want to do. Make it
Right.
happen. Make
Yep.
it happen.
I love
That's
it.
it.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Make it happen.
Uh-uh.
I appreciate you. I
I,
definitely
Me
appreciate you
too.
I
coming
appreciate you guys.
Yeah, this
Thank
was
you.
all. Now I'm gonna have to come back and listen to this one because I
on.
that's a that I need to hear over and over again. Being in the moment, but also listening to it again. I mean, you said some very profound things that I could really relate to and resonated with me. So yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
And go
Thank
on her
you.
page. Tell us how we can connect with you, our audience,
Yes.
how they can connect with you.
Well, so my name is on the screen, but if under that on Facebook and Instagram, same thing. I just have underscores after Brisa Alfaro, one underscore, Brisa underscore Alfaro underscore. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I'm on the other ones too, but not that much. Also, I have my website. My website is my first and last name, brisalfaro.com or pinkymoves.com. Also, I have a TEDx if anybody's interested in watching that. It's on YouTube. Um, I can send you guys the link to that and you can put it in the show notes or anything like that. So,
Okay, so you guys heard her. Her name is Brisa Alfaro on Facebook, Brisa underscore Alfaro underscore on Instagram, and she's BrisaAlfaro.com or PinkyMoves.com.
mhm.
And you can check her TEDx out. And I know that's wonderful because we were trained under the same people, so I know that that is a great TEDx. I
Yeah, thank
I
you.
see you doing your thing, and look, go check out her page because you will be able to see some of the pictures of when she was in the hospital, and you
Oh
will
wow.
be amazed as I was at some of
Mm.
the
Thank you.
pictures, and that she's here talking to us now. Um, I understand you when you said you still have symptoms that people don't see.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No.
It's where you see yourself.
Hmm.
Continue to see yourself doing it. I'm gonna be looking online and I'm gonna see you on stages all across America, internationally, all over the
Yeah.
place.
Thank
And
you. I
I'm gonna
received that.
be
Thank
friend.
you. I know
Yeah,
you.
you're
Thank you for coming on our
my
show.
OG friend.
OG friend. We were supposed to be sitting in the audience learning. We were up there running our mouths and laughing and
Mm.
having a good time with each other.
That's
Oh,
what
But
it's all
I
about.
felt very home with you, and I didn't know anybody. Like I said, I needed a friend, and you were my friend. So I appreciate you, and all the years later, you've been here for me, and without question, you invited me on your platform, and I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
I definitely appreciate you. And at some point, we're gonna get our retreat up and going. That's one of our goals, our pinky moves. We're gonna get there. We're gonna invite you back because I think you still have a lot more to offer our audience. And
Thank you.
I just
I,
love.
I can't wait for the retreat. You got to let me know.
We have to figure out one of our things is to figure out how to get people out of their comfort zones and to
Mm.
because we have set up wonderful ones and we
Pinky
just
moves.
figure out how to get people to
Thank
come.
you, Mother. Yeah.
Just take a
I
pinky
do it
move.
online first.
Yeah, probably so. Online first. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and close this out with so we're gonna let you guys know a couple of things that is coming up. We're gonna start doing we're gonna come out of our box a little bit. Can we tell them about the idea about the letters. Can we
Oh
talk
yeah,
about that now?
absolutely. Yes, that
So
would be
Red and I do a lot of our talking in the car. I don't know
yes.
why. We do a lot of our talking in the car. I guess that's our comfort
Plan,
zone.
our planning period.
We started out when we could go back to work during COVID, and I was going through some stuff. And Red is my therapist. Y'all know that. And so I call her and I get free therapy. I probably owe her hundreds of thousands of dollars by now. But I call her and talk to her on the phone. And I'm like, well, what about this? What about that? What about this? And she's all for everything. But this one we said we're going to do. Now, no ratchetness. That's one of the things she told me that I could not have. Because, I like a little extra sometimes. But we're going to start taking your letters. So if you have something you want to talk about or you have on your mind, you can write us a letter. You can do one of two things. You can go on to our um, Inspire Her page on Facebook and leave us a message there. Or you can go to Inspire Her TTW at gmail.com and send us an email and we'll print it out or read it while we're online. Now you can send us your name or you can be whatever name you want to be. And we'll read it online and we'll um, answer your question. If you want advice, we'll give you some advice on your topic. But this is going to be a new segment for us. We'll read your letters and, like I said, give you advice. And we'll also ask the audience if they have advice that they want to give you as well. Now, give us a minute because we gotta structure this the right way. But if you want to go ahead and if you have anything, and I'm gonna say anything at this point. Um, you can send in your letter and we will read it. So that's going to be one of our new segments, and we're gonna also just talk about things that's going on in the world. Just
This is election year, so that's a big thing. We'll be talking about that a lot more too. The election coming up and getting out there and voting.
right, because that's important, guys. That
Mhm.
we talk about what we want, what we don't want, what Biden didn't do, what Barack didn't do, what Trump did. But at the end of the day, we have the opportunity to um, let them hear our voice by voting. You know, that's the only way we can do it. If we don't get out there and vote, guess what might happen? We might have
Same.
another 4 years of something that we don't want. So vote, vote, and more vote. Do you have
All right.
anything else?
No, I think that's it. Thank you again so much, Brisa. Like I said, I'm gonna go back and rewatch this. This has
Oh,
been
am I
really.
still on?
Yes, you are.
Oh, I thought I was in the back now. I'm
No, you
sorry.
still you're on. You're still on. Listen, thank you everybody for listening. Those who will be listening, same thing for you. Send us your letters. And if you want to, even if you have a comment about Brisa, put it in your comments, and we pay attention to the comments after um, after our live is over. We pay attention to the comments, and we will respond to you. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's all we have.
I
Thank you,
think
Brisa.
that is.
Thank you,
We
ladies. Thank
are
you for
here
having
to
me.
inspire her,
Thank
the
you.
total woman.
Yay.